I just celebrated 9 years having moved to New Orleans. Okay, no pause. Okay. Yeah! No, because most of you are like, why did you even come here? You had an option? You know people elsewhere? Yeah, I lived in Florida, and I was so tired of being in like a hurricane-prone state with like tons of humidity and a football team that always looked like it was going to succeed and then just didn't. So I moved here. When I first got here, I was a little bit confused because there was a huge billboard that said, "Learn to read." And I didn't know who the fuck that billboard was for. Think about it. If you know what it says, you don't need it. And if you don't know what those 3 shapes are, your girlfriend's embarrassed. You know what I mean? She's like, how did you get a license in the first place? And then I saw all these bikes, and I'm like, wow, like these are like really environmentally friendly people. You know, first coming out here, I'm like, a lot of people have bikes out here. But now that I've lived here, I'm like, a lot of people have DUIs out here. They don't care about the environment. They legally cannot drive. And then you guys have this thing that's a median in 49 other states, but here it's called a fucking neutral ground. It's gigantic. People live there because it has more real estate than the houses across the street, you know? And at first I'm like, why is this thing so huge? And then I realized once you cross just 2 lanes of any New Orleans road, you like need to sit down, take a nap, rethink your life choices, call grandma, be like, if anything happens to me, take care of my cats. I don't know if I'm gonna make it to the next 2 lanes, you know what I mean? It's a difficult time. When I first moved out to New Orleans, I moved to CHNO because HBO told me to, and I do what my TV tells me to. And at the time, it was 2014, so there's still a lot of filming going on here. Now, boys and girls, word choice is very important, okay? I saw my neighbor at a coffee shop and they said, hey, now is not a good time to go back to the apartment. The police have it blocked off because they're shooting out there right now. They meant to say filming. But I just left all my shit there and went somewhere else. Fuck it, I don't need it that bad. Word choice is important. New Orleans isn't like me for 2 reasons. Here's the first one. I don't do drugs, right? And so the French Quarter can't stand me because I look like I either buy, sell, or distribute drugs, okay? Very confusing to a lot of people. And when I first moved out here, I had my long ass hair. I was going around at night because I had saved up enough money. I didn't have to work. Didn't find out until 8 months later. All of my new friends assumed I was a drug dealer. So there's that. I get it. I'm from Miami. Why wouldn't I be? Yeah, yo, let's do this. But here's the thing. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm coming home to my apartment, okay? And this guy stops me and he's like, hey, do you party? I don't know drug terms. I'm like, of course I party. I'm coming home late, man. I've been dancing all night. And he's like, cool. You want any party favors? And I'm like, I usually don't decorate. Are you like selling streamers out of your trunk? What's going on here? I normally just bring drinks. I'm not even going anywhere right now. I'm just going home. He's like, no, man. I got weed. I got the best weed. And I was just like, okay, well, one, if you have the best weed, why are you selling it to me in front of a church at 2:30 in the morning? I feel like you should have a call service employees. You know what I mean? Like, get that small business loan you're looking for. But second, this is a true story. There was a cop on the other side of the street. And I said, man, like I'm concerned for him. Like the guidance counselor, he obviously never had, right? And I'm like, how are you gonna try and sell me weed when there's a cop right there? And I shit you not, he looks at the cop, looks back at me and says, I already asked him, but they drug test now. So ever since he got a badge, he don't buy. Didn't realize the cop problem was so severe, but you know NOPD is just in dire straits. When you get a ticket, and on the back of the ticket, it's like, you could pay this ticket, or you could fill out this application. You know what I mean? Have you ever worked anywhere where you instantly got a $160 discount? I don't think so. Not without stealing. Also, public service announcement, guys. Never complain when you see 6 cops pulling over 1 car, okay? That's 5 cops that aren't fucking with you. Let the hyenas feed and run along, Gazelle. Just run along. Second reason why New Orleans doesn't like me is because I don't drink. Now, when I tell people I don't drink, they automatically assume there's a story. They pull a clipboard out of their ass, a couch out of nowhere, and they're like, lay down, let's talk about this. People always assume that either me, my mom, or my dad had some horrible drinking problem, and that's not the case. I'm that asshole that I just don't like the taste of alcohol, you know? I also don't eat mayonnaise. Yeah, I don't eat mayonnaise, but that's because my dad beat the fuck out of me with a mayonnaise jar all throughout my childhood. And then Hellman's was smart and used plastic jars, and that was helpful. And then he would just throw packets, and it would cut my face, my beautiful face. It's a joke. But it's hard. It's hard living a single life when you don't drink. If you don't know this, when you go to a bar and you don't drink, it's like going to a playground and you don't have any kids, okay? There's nothing illegal about what you're doing, but you're gonna make people extremely uncomfortable. Just sit on the bench and somebody walks up, hey, they're so cute, aren't they? Yeah, they are. The kids are great. Which one's yours? None of them. I don't know any of these kids. I'm just sitting here. Is that cool? So yeah, being at a bar when you don't drink, women come up, and the second I tell them there's nothing in my drink, they look at me, I can only imagine, the same way a woman looks at a guy that she just found out put something in her fucking drink. So, New Orleans also does not like me because I'm not a football fan, and I didn't know Napoleonic law. Did you know this? You have to be a Saints fan. And how would they know that? Well, they don't renew your license unless you show up wearing a Saints jersey for the photo. They just don't take the picture. My friends give me shit because I don't like football, and the only thing I could do to combat it was to explain football as literally as I could, right? Because they kept giving me shit about it. I'm like, all right. They're like, hey, you just don't like football because you don't know enough about it. And I said, all right, here's what I know about football. I know that these guys all wear like matching outfits, but if they go to a place that wears the same colors as them, they can't wear that. They have to switch it up. So they have two different outfits, like prom. Okay. To get all the things that they need, they go to a store called Dick's. They need Dick's. They definitely got to go there for all their stuff. The entire sports program is brought to you by Cox. Cox, yes. They need Dick's. Cox is the one that spreads it everywhere. We're good so far. There's positions like penetrating deep into the tight end, chasing down a wide receiver, posting up hard against a fullback. Okay. They wear pads to prevent bleeding. My sister does the same thing. That's fine. Whenever they do really well, they try and find their coach, who's usually wearing a very thin white polo. They get a bucket of ice cold water and they get their nipples as hard as possible. Just get that shirt soaking wet. You know, get undressed together, drink out of the same bottle to celebrate. They dance in the end zone. And if that is not enjoyable enough for all the men here, there's a version of the sport you can play in the comfort of your home called fantasy. Fantasy football. But to play fantasy football, you have to know the men so much more intimately. How tall is he? How much does he weigh? What schools did he go to? What's his favorite position? Like, what's he really good at? Because even though I don't know this man, I'm putting $300 down on him right now. And I need to know how he's feeling, so I know to put him on top or on bottom. Yeah. Thank you guys so much.